I feel like it's important to talk about that because I feel like in 2023, a lot of our youth don't know their culture. A lot of our youth don't know how empowerment has brought us this far. This is important to educate our youth on how we came from somewhere to now.
Man, they're trying to cancel Black history in Alabama. Welcome back to the Biblical Conservative channel. We're coming against the anti-God, anti-biblical, anti-Christian, anti-American spirit that's looking to prevail in this land. On Wednesday, 200 students staged a walkout at Hillcrest High School in protest over the Black History Month program. Now, when you look at this story, it's interesting because what the students are saying is that the reason why they had to walk out is because of the fact that the school did not want them to reference anything that happened before 1970. So including slavery, the Black Panthers, or the Civil Rights Movement.
At noon, more than 200 students at Hillcrest High School in Tuscaloosa County participated in a walkout protest after some controversy involving a Black History Month program. Students say the administration told them that their student-run Black History Month program could not reference anything that happened before the 1970s. That includes slavery, Black Panthers, and the Civil Rights Movement. Students say they decided to have the walkout in order to have their voices heard.
I feel like it's important to talk about that because I feel like in 2023, a lot of our youth don't know their culture. A lot of our youth don't know how empowerment has brought us this far. This is important to educate our youth on how we came from somewhere to now.
We were initially contacted. It was about one incident. We held a forum last Saturday and discovered that there was a culture here that was not conducive to educating. It was more intimidation, and the students were concerned. They were visibly shaken. I would say some were traumatized. We asked them what they wanted to do. What we wanted to do was stay out of it and allow the students to come up with a plan, and we support them.
The Tuscaloosa County School System issued a statement. It reads in part, "We are thankful for a community who cares about our students. Anytime someone in our community has concerns about the well-being of our students, we appreciate them coming directly to our administrators to discuss their concerns," end quote.
So the students decided to stage a walkout. Now, full disclosure, I went to the University of Alabama, and while I was there, we actually had a sit-in at the Student Government Association. We were protesting the fact that some fraternities and sororities, the predominantly white ones, were not allowing people of color. So we actually staged a sit-in at the Student Government Association. I remember people stepping over us that worked in the SGA and some other things. It was very impactful. As a matter of fact, it helped to change the policy of those fraternities and sororities at the University of Alabama. So I know the benefits of having a sit-in or have a walkout in protest. But the simple fact, when you listen to these students, you understand that, yeah, it's 2023, and it's a shame. We don't know all the full story. We don't know why the school didn't want them to talk about things prior to the 1970s at Hillcrest High School in Tuscaloosa County in Alabama. I mean, being familiar with that area, I mean, there's a lot of things that people probably not proud of in that area that happened. But see, that's the thing. See, the problem that we have with this quote-unquote anti-blackness movement, this cult of racial idolatry, this cult of wokeness, is because it emphasizes the atrocities that have been perpetrated on Black people. But it does not even mention the ability for Black people to overcome all the achievements, all the excellence, all the things that God did through the Black community to help build up America, to help America realize its ideals. But see, the cult of wokeness, the cult of anti-Blackness would not allow this. And so when this student talks about people don't know their history, they don't. Black people do not know their history. A lot of Black people don't. because a lot of black people just do what they're told. They don't take the time to research and understand the rich history that black people have in this country as Americans. And so, without knowing the full story about what this particular program was going to speak about and why this school, Hillcrest High School, chose to not have them talk about things prior to the 1970s, it's important. See, there's a balance that we have to strike. We have to make sure we don't overemphasize the atrocities and don't talk about black queer stuff that really doesn't really matter to true black history. But at the same time, we can't cancel it. We must talk about those things that happened in the past, especially down in Jim Crow South, because it's important to merge those two things together to see the full picture, to understand the atrocities, but also understand the way we've overcome as a nation, how far we've come as a nation. But again, I'll say, this cult of anti-blackness, this cult of wokeness does not want that conversation. It does not want that nuanced conversation because it wants to continue to hammer home the point that America is systemically racist. And it must be dealt with. You must give black people reparations. You must do this for black people. You must be anti-racist. If you're not anti-racist, then you're probably a racist. All this stupid stuff that people are saying and people are buying into it hook, line, and sinker. All of these DEI programs in corporate America and at these colleges, they're just breeding grounds for this cult of wokeness, this cult of anti-blackness, this cult of building people up to hate each other. That's all it is. All it does is build people up to hate each other solely based upon the color of their skin. You know, in Acts chapter 17, it talks about, and I have this as the intro of my video, blood. God created every person. One blood, the blood of Adam. One blood God used. So we're not separate races, one race, the human race, with different ethnicities. But the cult of wokeness, this cult of anti-blackness does not want it. And so this is just another example, without knowing the backstory, but this looks like and smells like another example of this cult of wokeness, this cult of anti-blackness rearing its ugly head in the lives of our young people. Our young people are being poisoned by this cult of anti-blackness. They're being poisoned by this cult. Young black people are being poisoned by this cult of anti-blackness. And we must stop it because we are not victims. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.